September 15th, 2017, 7:55 a.m. Eastern. NASA sent Cassini, a spacecraft the size of a school bus, straight into Saturn's crushing atmosphere. Not because it was broken, not because it was out of options, but Cassini wasn't dying. After 20 years and 4 billion miles, it was still working, still healthy, still transmitting. This wasn't a funeral. It was an execution ordered by NASA itself to protect a moon that might already be alive. Because sometimes the only way to protect life is to destroy the thing that found it. To understand why NASA made that choice, you first have to understand what Cassini was flying into. Saturn is not simply a planet, it is an entire kingdom. More than 700 Earths could disappear inside it, and it rules that kingdom from a throne wrapped in rings of impossible beauty. Up close, that beauty is a lie. The rings are billions of individual fragments, tumbling at tens of thousands of kilometers per hour, and a piece no larger than your hand carries the force of a small explosion. At Saturn's North Pole, something even stranger waits. A hurricane locked into the perfect shape of a hexagon, nearly 30,000 kilometers across, large enough to swallow several Earths, and stable for decades. Nobody fully knows why it exists. And yet for 13 years, Cassini threaded through all of it, orbit after orbit, and came back every single time. But the rings, the storms, none of that was the real danger. The real danger was what Cassini found underneath Saturn's moons. At Titan, Saturn's largest moon, Cassini released a small probe named Huygens into an atmosphere so thick that sunlight barely survived the descent. What Huygens found below looked almost like home. River valleys, shorelines, vast seas stretching to the horizon, except none of it held a single drop of water. On Titan, water freezes harder than granite. The rain falls as liquid methane. Rivers carve their channels out of hydrocarbons. It is Earth's twisted reflection, familiar enough to recognize, alien enough to remind you that you are nowhere close to home. Then came the moon that changed everything. Enceladus looked small, frozen, dead. It was none of those things. As Cassini passed overhead, towers of salt water erupted from fractures near its south pole, blasting hundreds of kilometers into open space. Beneath that frozen shell sat an entire ocean, kept liquid not by the sun, but by Saturn's own gravity, kneading the moon from the inside like a fist. So Cassini flew straight through the plume and tasted it. Water, organic molecules, and in 2015, something far more significant, molecular hydrogen. Direct evidence of hydrothermal vents working on the ocean floor. The same chemistry that feeds entire ecosystems at the bottom of Earth's oceans without a single ray of sunlight ever reaching them. Enceladus stopped being an ice ball that day. It became a candidate for life. This is where the story should have ended. A machine, a discovery, a triumph. Instead, it was only the beginning of NASA's hardest decision. Every great discovery carries a price. Cassini had come from Earth, and no spacecraft, however carefully built, is ever completely sterile. A handful of microbes could have survived the 20-year journey, sealed inside some hidden seam of the hull. If Cassini was simply abandoned, its orbit could eventually decay and send it crashing into Enceladus by accident. Those microbes could wake up inside an ocean humanity had not even finished exploring. We could contaminate the first alien ecosystem we ever found before we ever truly understood it. So by 2017, with Cassini's fuel nearly exhausted, NASA faced a choice no space agency had faced quite like it before. Let the spacecraft drift and gamble with the very ocean it had just revealed, or destroy it on purpose, deliberately, while there was still enough fuel left to aim. NASA chose to aim. In April 2017, Cassini began what Mission Control called the Grand Finale. 22 dives through a gap no spacecraft had ever dared enter, the narrow space between Saturn and the inner edge of its rings. Every orbit pulled it closer to the atmosphere. Every orbit was a rehearsal for the one that would not come back. And Cassini kept working the entire way down, closer views of Saturn's clouds than anyone had ever captured. Gravity measurements that revealed what lay hidden beneath Saturn's clouds. It was gathering its last discoveries while walking, quite literally, toward its own execution. September 15th, 2017. There was nowhere left to go. Mission Control sent one final command: dive. Cassini entered Saturn's atmosphere at more than 70,000 miles an hour, and the spacecraft fought until the very end. Tiny thrusters fired continuously, straining to keep its antenna locked on Earth, more than 1 billion miles away. Every second of data mattered. Every last whisper from a machine that refused to stop working, right up until the atmosphere finally won. The thrusters could no longer compensate. The antenna drifted, the signal weakened, and then, 83 minutes later, on a screen in California, it disappeared completely into a flat, silent line. Cassini discovered an ocean that might hold life beyond Earth. So NASA killed it to make sure nothing born on our planet got there first.